Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Friend or Foe Esports Luna League. We're kicking off Week 4, Day 2 on Game 2 of the night. Skill-based, taking the blue side, and on the red side, we have Serenity Senate. As we head on to Champ Select, I am excited to see this game unfold. Will SKL capture their first win of the season, or will SER keep their spot as one of the top 3 teams of the league? I have to bring you in the action as it unfolds. My name is Whirler, and casting alongside me for this game, we have Anti.
Hello. Once again, I am casting, which means that I am in charge of a single game instead of 2, but it is what it is. We're seeing some interesting bans coming out. Vishen immediately from Serenity Senate, even though Turbulent is no longer playing on skill base, so we already know that, we're going to see the Mundo come out. Interesting pick here.
That was quite the champion. Very interesting. From skill-based draft. Their team, so far, we haven't seen them come out on top yet. Mundo, I feel like, as a first pick, could be a good start to seeing a good draft come out from them, giving them hope into getting their first win for this series. And 2, I hope they lock that in, because that would be quite the matchup.
Do it. Oh, do it.
Do
it, you cowards. Do it.
Hey, wow! Did it. We're getting the Doge. Trick2G putting his mark on here. Search as, if you would, even. More Divine Thunderer users are coming out, with Ezreal being locked in next. We have a theme going on for Serenity Senate. They're having fun with this one, looks like.
Skill-based right now, they banned the Jaxway, they banned the Kindred, they banned the Lulu. And then I think that those are generally really solid bans. They're very targeted. Jax God King, literally in the name. Frozen Incursion, plays a decent Kindred, and Lulu is generally very strong. But immediately after that, skill-based decide to blind pick 2 champions, which I don't think are very blind pickable. And one of the first things that I said when I played against Serenity, when RLS and skill-based would scrim, one of the things I said to skill-based was that you cannot blind pick the Mundo. You do not do it. You will get punished.
It is definitely a very punishable pick, especially now that we have the Ezreal on the board. Very good champion for staying out of Mundo's harm's way, and also good at later in the game getting them down pretty harsh actually, especially if he takes cut down, which looks pretty good just with the Mundo alone. With the Soraka as well to keep
Ooh,
him alive in
Soraka
the
on
lane.
board.
I'm liking the bot lane from Serenity Senate so far.
Yeah, and like I said, while Morgana Caitlyn is a good bot lane, I don't think that they're something that you necessarily want to blind pick, especially when you know that the enemy support is a very good enchanter player. You've already banned the Lulu away because you respect that. And Soraka being on board, especially with that new ulti buff, means that this Nasus is eventually going to get completely unkillable. And this is already looking very good for Serenity Senate.
I'm excited to see those plus 12s as we get into the game. We're in ban phase number 2, Xin Zhao being taken off the table for skill base. That is definitely keeping their jungler in check. One lucky Fridge, definitely seen him mess around with some Xin Zhao here and there. What are they going to take out for the next ban as skill base is taken away Nocturne, it looks like, as it's going to be swapped over to Jarvan on the side of Serenity Senate. How do you feel about these jungle bans so far?
Generally, I think Serenity Senate has a good idea here. I think that skill-based banning away the Jarvan is a very worrying thought, because the thing is, skill-based right now, they cannot get into the late game. There is zero way they're going to outscale this team composition, and that's only off of the first 3 characters. Unless we have something like Kale to put Theracles on, there's basically zero way that you're going to out-damage the enemy team. And Serenity have acknowledged that they just need to survive the early game, and taking Xin Zhao off the board is really good for them. But taking another early game jungler like Jarvan off the board on the side of skill base is a worrying trend.
Definitely so, as Anivia is being taken off the table. running up Theracles' tree now. The Anivia being taken off. I am excited to see Theracles play because aside from staff games, I have not been able to cast one of Theracles.
Yo, what?
I'm excited for this. I haven't seen him in action with his team just yet. I'm hyped for it. That's my boy. And honestly, that's all I can say about that. This is my first time in 4 weeks and 2 days of seeing Theracles perform in the Luna League officially. With Sejuani being locked in for Serenity Senate, let's see what skill base is comp, what they're going to finish it out on.
Yeah, I was going to say, wait, hold on. What is this?
There's
no. Is that a Nautilus jungle?
It could be a Morgana mid. We can't write that one off.
It could be Morgana mid. It could be Morgana jungle.
Mm-hmm.
One of the big things here is that they banned away the Ahri, which is really surprising to me because Theracles is an avid Ahri player, also very proficient on the Xerath. So you might be seeing the Xerath coming in and putting Morgana jungle, or maybe even the Mundo jungle. I said that Mundo's not very good if you blind pick. But Mundo jungle is an option, not necessarily an S tier option, I would say, but definitely doable. And with the Trundles rounding this off, this draft all of a sudden goes from something that looked very bad to something that's very nebulous and could actually have a lot of cohesion. If Zishan is getting the goal that they need in order to succeed, I could absolutely see skill base doing well with this. But once again, it hinges on the early game.
It does indeed hinge on the early game, but Caitlyn is very proficient in that. When you have a lot of control in the mid lane to keep Corki, a champion of all champions, around, that's a lot of scaling on Serenity Senate first and foremost. But a champion like Morgana controlling the mid lane, assumably, is definitely a good pick around skill base. I'm wondering if they purposefully flexed that just to see if Serenity Senate would take the bait. And it seems like if that is what happened, it worked, as that will conclude the draft for this game. We got ourselves a game, ladies and gentlemen. Will team play the early game right win, or will team scale up to the late game, take the fire? I am going to give this one to Serenity Senate as my prediction. I genuinely like how their comp is more fluid. They have a lot of direction. They have a perfect goal in mind, and it's just a matter of if they can execute it. Whereas skill-based, they have a little bit more factors that they have to check off before they can see that victory screen. What do you think?
Honestly, I think that skill-based have a very difficult composition to make work. And Serenity Senate have a very easy, hey, if we get into the late game, we should be fine, and we know skill-based early game isn't necessarily the most proactive. So, as long as we can get there, we should be good to go. And I think that Serenity Senate have put themselves in a very good position here. All that being said, I gotta put some points down on skill base. They're my friends. I really want to see them succeed, and let's see how they can do on the Rift.
Man, I tried to, loosen the bias a little bit because I was talking about how Theracles is my boy, but
Nah, full bias.
now I just sound mean. Now I just sound really mean. As the hook goes wide onto the Nasus in the top lane, 5-man invade on the top side of the map, not gonna turn into anything. Definitely, they're looking to get to their early game as fast and as rampant as possible. Not gonna work out for them just yet in this early invade, but they're not giving up. They're getting at least some vision, which is going to be countered by Serenity Senate. Go on.
Yeah, and Serenity Senate have done a good job at seeing the early invade, and they've gone for the early ward in order to counter. But at least skill base are getting that ward on the red, so both junglers are going to understand around where each jungler is. Korean Sweeper coming out from Frozen Incursion, and honestly should be fine besides Serenity. I think that both teams aren't really going to get too much out of this.
The buffs are spawning and the jungle is clearing. Sejuani is going to be starting that topside red solo this game. So clear is going to be a little bit slower than Trundle's. I believe naturally it is anyway. So it's not going to be too detrimental. The Sejuani at least gets to know when the Trundle is leaving in comparison to her. But ideally, it was actually swept out. Sejuani swept this before starting the red, which is very good on her. So she will remain anonymous as she gets to clear the jungle. Not going to give too much away as we go into this, as the lane phase has begun.
Well, Sejuani did sweep, and technically it's left more ambiguous where she's starting. It's very, very obvious that she is going to be starting that red, so she should be about bot side soon. And she's very slow on this clear, actually, because of the no leash.
Definitely so. The no leash will put her behind a considerable amount, especially being Sejuani by herself. Our top lane here, Jax God King hit level 2 first before Royshao can. Not too good for the Mundo to start with. 10 CS on the Nasus. Is going to take a turret shot for his troubles, though.
Yeah, that early CS lead on Nasus is fine here because Nasus was pushing in. I think that Royshell's in a really good position here. Could freeze this wave by tower as long as they get the minion management down properly. I think that bot lane just need to be wary about the Sejuani gank. They already know Sedge started top, so with that ward in the river should be fine. And Fridge coming in here.
Here we go. We're getting the Nasus camp here. Troll wants the dog. Dog going to be walking out. He's going to be taking some damage from here. Will he have to blow the flash? Pillar comes out and the flash proceeds. That's going to be a flash down for DKane. And it's not going to matter too much. Is going to put him behind a little bit. He's going to have to respect the Trundle very, very much moving forward.
Yeah, and that flash, very, very important. And as long as Royshell's not hitting the minion wave too much, this is a perfect position for Mundo. Just like that, there's a freeze going on in top lane, or at least there absolutely could be, and Fridge is more than happy to just repeat gank over and over again, and just like that, coming right back in. And it looks like Royshell is opting for the slow push. They might eventually end up going for the dive, but I think that was a mistake. I think that you could just freeze there, and the lane is just over.
Is warded. He knows one lucky Fridge is here, but he is not respecting it. No flash. The pillar comes out. Jax God King's not in a good position here. He's walking out as fast as he can. He's going to hide in the minion wave, so Mundo cannot throw cleavers as he pleases. And that is going to be him getting out. He's going to have to bust the TP, and that's going to be both summoners coming out. That is very good on one lucky Fridge to get that out of him. And Jax God King not paying respect to the fact that you saw Trundle on a ward.
All right, and Fridge coming around mid, trying to make something happen again.
Not stopping here, as LTY is going to get a little bit of that pressure. Morgana doing a lot of damage in trades. He's already taken the low health and low mana here in this mid lane. And is ahead in the CS, which is very good for him so far. But the pressure from Trundle will set him back just a little bit, make him feel a little uneasy coming into this lane. This is scaling champion, so this lead right now, he's not caring too much about a little bit of early pressure. Nothing really happened anyway.
And LTY sitting on 2 biscuits honestly should be fine in this mid lane for a while. Going to opt for the back and TPing in. I think that Zishan is finding themselves in a very good position here. They're not necessarily too far ahead in CS, but they're continually getting the push down, getting that damage on the tower, should be getting at plate in about 45 seconds or so. And they're going to be zoning off the spot lane. Very good here.
But a good hook coming out from Kevin is going to get P-Sweezy's E. Nothing too much coming out from there. No summoners were blown. Ezreal, taken very low on mana, does have biscuits to help keep that in check. But for now, it's looking like the sustain in this bot lane is heavily skill-based favored. As a good poke onto that, and another hook onto P-Sweezy. Soraka heals coming out. Another trade with no result. But this is very good coming out from skill-based bot lane. Recognizing that the Sejuani is in the bot lane now, Flash Q coming out on to Zishan. Zishan is going to have to flash out of that one. Good support by Kevin to get Frozen Incursion off of it.
Oh, the Ignite?
From Theracles is going to engage this fight even further. Kevin taking Frozen Incursion very low. Will Zishan be able to get it? And that's first blood going into Caitlyn's pocket. Big paycheck for her in this early game. Going to give Corki an elevator out of there as well.
Yeah, and that's that early teleport advantage from mid lane coming in handy, and Theracles teleporting down, turning what was looking like a not great play into something that's honestly really, really phenomenal.
Definitely so, and they're going to get a dragon off of that. That's the first Cloud Drake of the game going to skill base. I'm liking how this is going for my boys. This is definitely the start they wanted. Not over just yet if you're SER right now. Definitely not even close to over. But if you're skill based right now, this is the start you want. This is the first check on your list that you need to see to make your comp work. They have a lot more checks to be able to check off, but so far from what I've been seeing, it seems like they can make that happen.
Yeah, and one of the big things here is that while skill based with getting that early lead, this is what's required of them. This is par for the course. This is what we expect. This is what we want to see. And it's great that they're getting it. And Caitlyn is going to continue to farm up bot, has the cull, and there is basically zero kill pressure because this is Ezreal Soraka. There's nothing that you're going to be able to do here. But at the same time, Caitlyn needs to continue to push that tower down, get those tower plates, and we saw the first tower plate did go down, but Caitlyn wasn't able to get the gold from that. So it's going to poke out P-Sweezy, going to continue to push it down, going to keep trying to get those tower plates. And the more cash money that we can get on this Caitlyn, the better and better this skill.
Ooh, but a good hook from Kevin onto Ollie is going to start this one up again. Soraka entering lane at 50% health. That is not good for Soraka at all. That gets rid of so much sustain that is needed in this lane phase. And Caitlyn, a champion that does a lot of poking, you're going to need as much as you can get. Another plating going over into the bot lane's pocket. They're going to be ahead in gold despite being even in CS. With the kill plus 2 platings, that is about, I want to say, 900, maybe 900 and some change up on this bot lane in terms of both Nautilus and Caitlyn going into this. Frozen Incursion spotting one lucky Fridge.
Yeah, Fridge should be fine. He's level 6. Oh, once you ult that should be a kill.
Definitely so. There's 3 members on him. Subjugate has not come out just yet. The Rift Herald is going to reset, is walking back. Shelly is not happy with what she was turned away from. They're going to restart it. Is going to be back to full health. LTY taking some poke here from Theracles. Theracles bringing on the annoyance. Is this going to be a 3v3 that we're seeing so far? Rift Herald taken down to half. They got to engage this here at some point.
I feel like you can just go right in here.
Is taken very low, forced to smite for health. Frozen Incursion is going to be going down to Theracles. Good ulti coming out from Theracles to lock up 2. And that's going to be DKing going out. Corki Valkyrieing out, but he's not giving up. He's going to throw a rocket over in hopes to take it, but it's going to go into skill-based pocket. 2 more kills for the skill base.
Yeah, 2 kills, and it's very clean on the side of skill base. They were a little bit hesitant about going in, but eventually got everything down, and they're getting that gold off in the mid lane. I think that, honestly, at this point, you want that bot lane. You just want to put that cash onto the Caitlyn. But overall, a good proactive play from skill base.
Definitely so.
All right, Kevin?
Out. Even though he was spotted out on the pink ward, he's coming down with vengeance as well. Ollie.
Oh my god.
Zishan is going to pick that up with the ace in the hole. That's a +1 to Caitlyn right there, and another 300 gold in her pocket to keep this game going where it needs to. That is a great, even better start for SKL.
Yeah, and this Trundle getting ahead is absolutely massive, especially because with Sejuani on the enemy team, the moment that she gets an Aftershock proc with her passive up, if Trundle ults her with Subjugate, she's going to literally have negative armor by the time that Aftershock pops off.
Definitely so, and we all know how tough it is to kill a Trundle. That was close to almost securing kills. They are playing a dangerous game down here. They really are. I'm not liking how this is going with how much
Oh my
he's
god!
taking, but the Caliber net is going to come out on the Arcane Shift, and this Caitlyn was ready for it. Very well played on Zyshan's part to be able to secure that kill. Flash coming out in just a few seconds. There's a Sejuani. Nautilus is going to scare her away, and that's 5 kills. 3 of them in the pocket of the Caitlyn.
Yeah, and Zishan already got the Executioner's Calling on board. Tower is still up. I feel like you just take that tower completely back, reset, and start putting the Caitlyn elsewhere because you just want to put money on this Cait, like I said. And top lane, going to go relatively even. Nothing too crazy is what we expect to see from Nasus and Demundo. And Nasus is going to eventually be a problem, but if Caitlyn gets that gold, should not be concerned about shredding through that Nasus.
And Corki does have the package. I'm interested to see what he's going to be using it for as he uses it across the mid lane, as you can see on that mini-map. So the package is going to be down for the next 3 minutes. Corki not using it for too much here as they're playing a slow start to their game. Not a problem for a scaling comp such as theirs. But in the top lane, there's some wet noodle fight action up here, and Nasus is going to be taking the L on that one. He might have to TP back to lane. I don't think he has to expend the TP, actually.
I don't believe so. It should be a slow push. Kevin coming in with a very, very threatening pose, but not going to do too much outside of the posing.
But on the other hand, Trundle coming up in the mid lane. Corki does have Flash.
Oh!
The Flash ulti from Theracles is going to force the Flash out of LTY. And Flash for Flash here in the mid lane with the pressure of one lucky Fridge. That is very good for them to trade Flashes and get Corki pressured as much as he can so that he can scale up just a little bit slower. The pressure is always welcome. The first tower of the game is going to go to the Caitlyn's pocket. That's 300 extra gold. And I spy a little dragon. How about you?
Yeah, and with 2 dragons on the board for skill base here, and the next dragon being either Infernal Soul or Ocean Soul, this is monumental. Skill base needed to win the early game, and they have slammed the early game. It is nearly a 5k gold difference at 12 minutes in, and this is only going to get larger as they rotate the Caitlyn around to other lanes and continue to get that gold onto her.
Infernal Drake is the soul of the game, and if you are the side of SKL, you are looking for that because that is that extra push of damage you need to be able to outscale a comp like this. It is not favorable for them to take it to the late game. If they're able to get an early soul, that would actually be to their benefit, as NASA's getting a lot of stacks up in here. I would like to get a stack check on Jack's Gold King to see how much stacks he has here at 13 minutes. He's
240.
240. That is a very good start for Nasus. Not the most ideal situation for him, being that he did have to give over death earlier. He's still keeping up in stacks quite well. You can see the amount of ability haste he has with those items. Goodness.
Yes! Cash money Caitlyn, baby! Let's go! This is exactly what we want to see. Skill base are using their early lead. They're rotating well. I love this macro adjustment from them. And this is so much better than what we've seen in the previous weeks. And I'm very happy to see this adjustment.
Good rotations from SKL. They definitely put a lot of work into that one. 14 minutes, the plates are gone, but the turret's still there. Caitlyn's in a bad spot as the ulti goes out onto her. She's forced to flash out. She is zoning Ezreal despite being stunned up. Frozen Incursions taking
so much damage.
Good rooting coming out from them, and Zyshan is going to take the rampage on that one. That looked very bad for SKL for a second there, but a very well played team fight to turn that one around and make it theirs.
Yeah, and Frozen Incursion going to go in there with the ulti. Unfortunately, the only people who could back them up are P-Sweezy and Ollie. And this Ezreal is not doing enough damage, and there's just no way you're going to kill a Caitlyn who has flash up. And if you don't see the enemy team, you're just going to get collapsed on, and skill base are more than happy to rally behind Zishan and make sure that he pumps out as much damage as possible.
Definitely so. Are they looking to dive the Kane? I'm not too sure about that one. I think the Kane is going to be fine for just a couple more seconds. He did expend the ulti during that trade to stack a little bit faster and get a faster push. Definitely not a bad option, especially with how low of a cooldown that ability is by itself. And plus having, I believe, that is a total of 35 ability haste
I
on the
believe
Nasus and
so.
just items alone. So definitely not a bad ulti to expend as it is already almost back up. Not too bad. NASA should be getting more stacks here as the game progresses, and I'm
Oh,
excited
this
to
is
see.
perfect.
Definitely so. Second road of the game already going to the side of SKL. It looks uncontested as Sejuani is chilling on the Gromp. Definitely can open up the map a lot more for them as well, especially with two first towers being taken on the side of mid and bot. See if we can open
Mhm.
up that top lane and make NASA's stacking journey just that much harder.
Yeah, and this is what I like to call the cash money rotation strategy, right? Because you take a champion that can push down lanes and push down towers like Jinx, Tristana, Ziggs, or Caitlyn. Oh, Zishan just gonna go right in here.
Not looking like there's going to be, oh my god, maybe I could be wrong, as the ulti under tower forces the ulti coming out from Jack's God King. I wasn't going to say anything just because it didn't look like it could have been a kill, but I'm horribly wrong
No,
on that
there's
one, and
no
Zishan is
there's no way that it's going to be a kill, but absolutely going to be a four-sided lane. But like I was saying, this is the cash money rotation strat where you take a strong tower pushing champion into a lane where you know they're going to get priority. You push down the first tower, you rotate. You push down the second tower, you rotate. You just get as much money as possible onto these champions, and they're going to absolutely slam that mid game for you, especially because Caitlyn is one of the champions with the most useless power trough in the mid game, that the moment that you can get this far ahead, it should be completely fine. And Royshao going right in on
I think
LTY.
LTY going to be taken very low on here, Valkyring out, but it's not going to matter. Roy Shald is a Mundo, and he's going to do what he pleases here in this bot lane as he takes Corki out for a walk and is not returning home on that one. Very good on him to get himself his second kill of the game. And SKL are just stomping this game. I was going to mention, can we get a gold check? I want to see how far this Caitlyn is ahead of everyone so far, as we have established a 7K gold lead almost for the side of SKL. I would like to see the gold dispersed across the teammates and see just how far the money strat worked for this Caitlyn. Definitely waiting on that.
Honestly, right now, one of the big things here is Mundo being able to 1v1 LTY, despite, LTY had Flash available, probably didn't think that they needed it, but those new Mundo buffs coming in means that when Mundo ultis, he gets bonus health off of the ulti, and his E hits even harder, because that's also going to scale off of bonus health. Instead of it just being considered healing, also means that Revis wounds aren't going to be as strong. And all of a sudden, skill base are taking early game comp, they're rotating well, they're playing the macro phenomenally, and this is looking so good for them.
I'm liking how I'm seeing SKL play these games. This is their turnaround. I'm excited to see if this team can pull off a sweep after sweep on their score overall. Not looking too bad for them to start 7-0. Theracles taking a little bit of damage coming out from Corki in the bush, but it's not going to matter too much. As the game just keeps progressively getting better and better for SKL. They got the third dragon of the game that's going to be Soul Point. That's one Infernal under their belt. See if they can get the Soul coming up here in 4.5 minutes as they're pressuring down a tier 2 tower.
Yeah, and honestly, this siege should be very strong. If Caitlyn has a lead early into the mid game, you can absolutely go for some really strong sieges, and there's very little that the enemy team can do. One of the things I do want to see from Zishan, I want to see that early Lord Dominic's regards, because the only two characters on the enemy team that are going to be a threat, if any, are going to be the Nasus, who are going to get directly on top of you, and the Sejuani, who can lock you down, but you already have Trundle to shred Sejuani's armor, so it's really just going to come down to, can you kill the Nasus? The Ezreal and the Corki, while strong champions that do dish out a lot of damage, should never be in range of you, because you already have Mundo and you already have Trundle to zone them off. As long as you can shred Nasus, this game is straight up in the bag for SKL.
Definitely so. Nasus only sitting on one item right now. Caitlyn going to finish her second one here in just a second, as she is, yep, that is the rapid fire under her belt. That is very, very good for Caitlyn coming out here. Good term of poke. And in a game like this, Caitlyn, you want to stay very, very far away from champs like Sejuani and Nasus. And respectfully, Ezreal and Corki, despite them having Corki specifically having a lot of forward engage. That being said, Rapid Fire is such a good pickup here. LDR should come next, but with the pickaxe pickup, I don't see that happening.
I'm feeling it's going to be Infinity Edge at this point, which I honestly think is a mistake because, like I said, the only champions that you have to kill at this point are going to be Nasus and Sejuani. There's not really going to be too much pressure from killing LTY and P-Sweezy. You could build AP at this point. You're still going to kill LTY and P-Sweezy. You have all the gold that you could ever ask for.
Mm-hmm. Definitely so. What do you think the pickaxe is going to be? There's not many options for a pickaxe.
Infinity Edge.
For 80
Straight
carries.
up.
Infinity Edge is very obvious, yeah. There's not many options for 80 carries when it comes to pickaxe. It used to be LDR. It is not anymore because it gives crit now, which I find to be very interesting with how they have passed the items in the season. Caitlyn doing Caitlyn things over this Baron wall. They're starting a very early Baron here. And Caitlyn being used as bait, sitting on the back line of it, is kind of risky, but she was able to get out into a bush in just enough time. They're catching out Soraka. They're not going to double up on it, though. TP from Theracles is going to draw Sarah off of the Baron, and that is going to be a free Baron, almost contested by the Ezreal ult, but did not make it there in time. That is an extra 1,500 gold in their belt. We're just 2k gold away from a 10k gold lead.
Yeah, and skill base are playing this early game phenomenally. The one gripe that I did have was the itemization from Zishan, but like I said, that has nothing to do with macro. This is a great early game, and I love to see the direction that this team's going in, because we've seen them, and Zishan gonna steal away the blue buff. We've seen them time and time again get into a decent position, but the macro has always been what has been wanting, and just like that, they've given us what we wanted, and we're seeing a strong showing from skill base here.
Definitely so. I'm very proud of how I'm seeing SKL play. They're really making me regret my prediction. I felt bad not voting for them because these are my friends. However, they're proving me wrong. I couldn't be more proud.
What can I say? Give me my channel points. I've dumped some onto skill base, and they are absolutely making it feel worth. And Zishan gonna put out a decent amount of damage on the Frozen Incursion here, and Nasus getting cooked up.
D Kane going in for D plays, but he's gonna go to D Grave as one lucky Fridge is gonna pick up that kill for him. Nautilus ult coming out, gonna knock up P-Sweezy. He knocks him matter too much, but a package from Corki could turn this around. Ezreal is gonna get some health, or some mana back rather, and they're gonna look to try to fight this with the package potentially, but this looks like an inhib for SKL. A hook onto Frozen Incursion is gonna force the flash. Kevin taken very low. LTY is gonna pick that up, and he's gonna trade his life for that. As an inhib going out for the SKL, and Zishan is in the front lines, very much so, using that 650 range to his advantage, going 0-0 with the team so far under the doubles turret. Is not going to result in anything in terms of that regard. The 2-for-1 trade overall with a third-tier tower and an inhib under their belt. And what is that I see? That's an Infernal Drake on the map, and that could be Soul for SKL.
Oh, this could be bad. Oh, this could be bad. I don't like this at all. I think that SKL overstayed, and they do not need to go for this dragon right now. The smite is not up, but Serenity are not going to contest. Zishan is healthy, so they say, hey, we're just going to give this up. This is Infernal Soul. But at this point, why would we give up Infernal Soul if we're just going to lose the game out of it?
They seem to be droughting themselves out of this game. 1 by 1 by 1, 23 minutes. We have a Baron completed for SKL, and Soul, Infernal Soul at that, completed as well. Very, very wonderful for them, as components of the IE are going to be continued to be picked up by Caitlyn. She should be very close to that. I'm going to be very honest with how that fight went. Didn't get any kills out of it, but they pushed a lot of towers and all of that, which is at least given the combined cost, is at least 1,300 away, but I feel like it's a lot closer than that. We could check the gold here in just a second if you want to swap over to the gold graph. and see just how much. Yeah, she's very close. That's just 300 gold. She's gonna farm this bot wave and go for it. So
yeah,
is
that's
it
like
gonna
a
be
4K gold lead onto Caitlyn alone. Dear
that?
Lord.
Oh, wait, I just realized that myself. I was asking for it earlier, but now that I see it, 11K gold on the Caitlyn is insane. So far, coming out here from SKL, I'm extremely even more proud of this performance, and getting another tier 2 under their belt could spell a lot more trouble for SCR, and that's another 200 gold in everyone's pocket. Caitlyn guaranteed has IE now. Still think it should be an LDR, but you're so ahead at this point that it doesn't even matter. Arcane, or the ulti coming out from Ezreal, True Shot Barrage.
Oh, Zishan!
Zishan in the front line. D. Kane is looking for the entrance in this one, but it's not going to matter. The CC comes out from SKL, and D. Kane is going to go down to D. Gray for a third time this game. He has 2 items. He was looking for that Caitlyn. Almost got him. That was very close to getting that.
Yeah, that was incredibly close. Zishan coming up a little too close, but Theracles, thankfully, just around the corner, should be keeping Zishan alive just fine. Zishan just a little bit too trigger happy on these. You don't want to give your opponents an avenue back into this game, and you just want to keep alive and don't give them that shutdown gold.
Definitely so. They've only dropped 1 kill, and it's been the Nautilus, so they haven't dropped any of those shutdowns here just yet. That's almost 1,000 gold if Caitlyn ever does go down. I could see why Nasus really wanted that. That's a paycheck and a half plus a plus 12.
All right, and they're going to back off. I think that this is totally fine here. You don't necessarily need the inhib itself, and pushing forward for it would be honestly tantamount to suicide with how strong Serenity is going to be once they cut back with more items, more gold, and more health bars.
And there's the LDR we're looking for from Caitlyn. That's a long sword. There's quite literally 2 items that can go into at this point, and I can almost guarantee you with confidence that she is not building BT.
And at this point,
confidence.
At this point, you know, we've got Baron coming up in 25, and that's an IE on the Caitlyn. Should absolutely demolish LTY, P-Sweezy, and Ollie. Just a question of Nasus, which, as we've seen before, we have more than enough lockdown on this team that it's not a complete necessity. But Caitlyn's not in the area for this.
Theracles going in for 2-man ultimate. Oh, God. Jax God King is going to get stunned up, taking a half, but that's a plus 12 for D. Kane on Theracles. He's going for more.
Zishan's free hitting.
On this one, LTY going to get some pickups for himself as well. Kevin going to have to flash out of that one. That's a double kill for the Caitlyn. P-Sweezy going to try to get Kevin for himself, and he succeeds. One lucky fridge is going to go down as well, and it's Caitlyn versus the world. D. Kane started off a great fight for them, picking up 4 for 2.
Oh my God.
Good Q from Zishan is going to be enough to pick up more. P-Sweezy is going for more, but Zishan is not having it. Taken very low, almost getting the clean ace by himself. That's 9 kills going onto the map, and that is going to be P-Sweezy cleaning it up. He's staying alive. He's able to save the base as much as possible, and his inhib is coming up. So the terror is over for them right now. And that's the fight they needed. Picked up every single shutdown they needed to get into this game. Corki got 1. Nasus got 1. Ezreal got 2. That is phenomenal for them.
Yeah, and like we said, you know, Zishan has all the gold. You don't want to give Serenity an avenue back into this game. But in that last fight, while Zishan spent a decent bit of it free hitting, there was so much of that fight. Like, at least half of it was Zishan free hitting, and the other half was Zishan not being there. And you cannot take those fights as skill-based right now. You have to understand Caitlyn is your only real damage source, and you have to play around that.
And SKL are not feeling any pain from losing that fight at all. It delayed them enough time and enough champions to where P-Sweezy could not do anything on the map. The True Shot Barrage is not going to even be close to this one. SKL come back on the map and are just doing business as usual, like nothing ever happened. A Baron number 2 under their belt, an Elder coming up in a minute. Let's see if they even need it.
All right, I feel skill-based are looking to opt into this Elder at this point, and Zishan, look at Zishan's positioning. This is what you need. Going for that scuttle, the entire team is going for that jungle vision, and I just want to make sure to see whether or not Zishan's going to be in the right position to pump out that damage.
He definitely could be. Flash is up for Zishan. Is going to be favorable for him to fight in this sort of scenario. Elder coming up in 10, and Serenity Senate are looking to contest this one. They cannot let this one go uncontested like they have before. Zishan with the traps is going to be locking them out a little bit, but Sejuani is able to win Spy just a little bit.
Package on board.
Jax is going to start this, but Package coming out on a Zishan. LTY taking very low, but
Zishan's down.
He is going to be going down for this one, and that's going to be Theracles with the ulti coming out to try to turn this one around. Frozen Incursion going to be following just behind. One Lucky Fridge going to be on P-Squeezy with Roy Shao, and Roy Shao pick it up, and that's going to be 4 for SKL. That's going to be the end of the fight right there. That was very, very close for Serenity Senate, and a quadra kill coming out for one Lucky Fridge. One Lucky Fridge equals 4 lucky kills.
Yeah, and honestly, that looked so good for the side of Serenity at the beginning, because Jax God King flashes forward, gets the wither off on Caitlyn, and just like that, Caitlyn's not able to auto-attack, she's not able to do her job, and she gets taken out of the fight very early on. And Theracles puts down as much damage as possible, and while the Serenity Senate decides that they're going to focus down Thero in the rest of the fight, Fridge and Kevin and Royshal are doing their darndest to like try and put out so much damage. Yeah, and Zishan, at the very beginning, huge chunk onto LTY, but taken out immediately by Jax God King and P-Sweezy here. And just like that, Thera walks up, ulti across 3 members, really strong chains, but P-Sweezy continually pumping out damage, and one Lucky Fridge is more than happy to just keep on munching away at everyone until you get 4 of the 5 kills. And they're going to turn for the Elder. I feel like at this point, you just go double inhib. Yeah, Lucky Fridge on the Elder and Royshal going for the inhibs. I think this is the right play. You still have Baron. You just want to get as much pressure as possible on the map. You don't need 2 people for this. And this, honestly, good macro decision from the side of Skillbase here.
With how the game has been going early and being so one-sided, these fights have still been absolutely so unbelievably close. This is so exciting, and the TP is coming out from Corki. He's not letting this one go. One Lucky Fridge is in some trouble here. He is going to get the smite. LTY is in a little bit of trouble.
Is Fridge in trouble?
The TP as well. One Lucky Fridge is going to have to get out of that one. The shield coming out just a little late. Wither is going to slow him down, but that's not going to matter too much. Another TP from Roy Shao. That's all 4 TPs expended for this fight. Elder Dragon is going to
God!
Well, and they're going to start this one out. D. Kane is going to be taken low, and the Elder Drake's going to pop him. LTY is going to have to recall out of this one, as they're going to start aiming for the base. And this could spell trouble for SER being down a tank. And they're going to be walking forward on this one. Let's see if they can continue this fight. This could be the end of the game if they are able to get into it as they should. Zishan is here. He's going to be taking this inhib for sure. 8-2. He's got the last whisper.
Oh, great binding.
Flash hook coming out from Kevin is going to start that one off, and Zishan getting the first Elder on Ezreal. Ezreal's going out. This fight is looking like it's going to be it. Roy Shao is going to be in the front lines, taking them down, and LTY is going to be going down just shortly after. The one Lucky Fridge picking up the kill they need to secure this game. SKL is looking to get this one, and another Elder is going to pop up on the Ollie. One more kill is all they need, and another kill for the Caitlyn. That's going to be a clean ace, and SKL are on the board, ladies and gentlemen. That is their first win of the season, and I am so proud of my boys.
Let's go!
Let's go. SKL getting win number 1 for themselves in the most beautiful fashion. I cannot express how fun that game was to watch, with how well the underdogs came in, played that early game, and those team fights, even though while they were not perfect, it was enjoyable to see them come out on top in this game.
And honestly, I think that SKL, what they've done is they took a draft that had a very, very clear win condition, and they played to it. They played the macro well around it, and Caitlyn was the only real damage source on their team, and dear lord, did she output that damage. And SKL did a really good job playing around it in the team fights and in the macro. I think that Zishan had their moments where they're a little bit too far up, but Theracles, Kevin, Fridge, and Royshal all made sure that wherever Zishan goes, that's where we go. We are keeping this Caitlyn alive, and man, did it pay off.
Oh my god, that was such an amazing performance coming out from SKL. I am flabbergasted by this one. 1 and 7. They're on the board, ladies and gentlemen. I am so happy for my boy Theracles. Oh my god, what a game. Very well played from them. That early game was phenomenal. Those team fights were beautiful to watch, despite how close they were. With how far they were ahead, you wouldn't think they would be so close. But that just makes it all the more enjoyable when they get that W. SKL taking game number 2 of the night, getting on the board. I'm going to say it as much as I can, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned for a interview with our winners. We will be right back in just a short moment. Don't go anywhere.
Hello, folks, and welcome back. Talk about a Rocky Balboa story. Team Skillbase has picked up their first win, and we have over here on the interview desk the one, the only, Zishan. Thank you so much for dropping by.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, you are very welcome. So, first off, I gotta ask, what was y'all's plan going up against Serenity Senate? They're definitely shown that they've got some really good skill under their own belts, and so it had to be like some planning going into that.
Yeah, I think, week to week, day to day, the draft system hasn't changed too much. Have to give a huge shout out to our coaching staff here, both Coach Jordan and Fern. They do all of our scouting, all of our draft picks. So if you notice, the plan hasn't changed too much. And even though coming into this we were 0-7, it's not due to a mismanagement of draft. So our plan works. Our plan is good. We just stick to it and get better at executing it.
Exactly, and obviously your execution was fantastic this game. So was there anything particular different about your practices, about some of the stuff you're doing behind the scene that really caused that huge bump in skill? Actually, I guess is a good way to put it.
Yeah, I think part of it just comes down to getting reps in. For most of these teams, they're returning from multiple splits, multiple seasons. This is our first few months together as a team. It just takes time, so we're getting the growing pains out of the way.
Yep, getting those growing pains out of the way. It's always rough going through that sort of thing. So now that you have very clearly shown that you've got what it takes, what do you have to say to the top dogs of this league as you start coming for them?
I think usually I would say a lot of, just generic trash talk. I think for right now, we just need to stay humble and take it one game at a time. So we can bring this back. We can still have a chance at playoffs. So just taking every game like it could be our last game and moving forward, doing what we do best. We should be okay.
Moving forward one step at a time. That's really all you got to do. Well, Zishan, thank you so much. Greatly appreciate it.
Thanks.
And with that, everyone, stick around. We will be right back with the next game coming up in our Friend or Foe series, Luna League. It is going to be Team Asorth versus Fraud Squad. And don't wait for the big rematch coming up later today, Blue Bayou Zoo versus Yubi. That's going to be one to watch. Stick around.